This next task is called Helpful Memory Aids. When you study for a test, it's important to understand the big picture, but you'll often find yourself having to memorize lots of little facts. Chances are you already have a few tricks to remember things, like a phone number, or a birthday, or a new friend's name. Next, we'll review a few different ways to help you memorize those lists and those important details. So we'll review a few different ways to help you memorize those lists. You may wish to share your own strategies in the discussion column. For example, you might use an acronym to remember a short grocery list, like CAB, C-A-B, for cheese, apples, bread. I do the same thing all the time. You have a test-taking strategies form that you have as part of this task and this quest. It's in Google Form, and it's called Test Taking Strategies. And you're going to see that there are 3 different strategies there. So take a moment and read through them, and then add some of the ideas that you have about each one of those 3 as you review it. So one of them would be flashcards. Those are great tools. Quizlet, we use Quizlet for making flashcards, and hopefully this week we'll all be experts at making flashcards on Quizlet. All it takes is a stack of index card, or you can do it on Quizlet. You write a keyword on one side of the flashcard and the important information on the back, not just for vocabulary words. Could be, anything that you have to study for a test. That's always a great way to do it. Suppose you're studying, angles in a test for math. You could write down some of the angles that you have that is going to be on the test, and then you can write the definition of what it is on the back, something like that. So that's one test-taking strategy or one memory strategy, I should say, would be to use index cards or flashcards. Acronyms are also a good thing, I mentioned before. So an acronym is when you're trying to remember a list of words. An acronym is when you take the first letter in each word and then you arrange the letters to make a new word. There's one that's very popular out there that a lot of students will do when they're trying to memorize the names of all the Great Lakes in the United States. It's called HOMES, H-O-M-E-S, and each letter stands for one of the Great Lakes. So you've got Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. HOMES. So that would be an example of an acronym. Acronymic sentences is another helpful strategy when you have to remember words in a certain order. So you write down the words that you have to remember, and you underline the first letter in each word, and then you write a sentence using words that begin with the underlined letters. Or so one of my test-taking strategies, or one of my memory strategies that I've used in the past, is when I had to learn the notes on a scale. And you have the notes on a scale when you're playing music, and they're E, G, B, D, F. And you make a sentence for the first letter of each one of those notes. Every good boy does fine. E, G, B, D, F. Good test-taking strategy. I learned that when I was in 7th grade. I still remember it. And I don't play music all that often anymore either, which is a shame. But that would be an example of an acronymic sentence. So you can come up with some of your own ideas on the Google form for that, or some examples of some of the things that you might think of. So take a moment and go through that form and fill that in, and then we're going to go on to the final part of our quest, the wrap-up. See you there.